All right, let's go live here real quick.
Do you think that will create a possible threat for U.S. forces?
Well, as I'm sure you can appreciate, I'm not delving into domestic Syrian politics other than to say, again, we recognize the situation right now in Syria is fragile, particularly as it relates to the post-Assad regime. U.S. forces have been working closely with the SDF for years now on the Defeat ISIS mission, and that continues to be our focus. I won't speak for the SDF or what the local population may or may not be saying, other than, again, I think we all have a vested interest in ensuring that ISIS is not allowed to regroup and resurge and return to the kinds of activities that we saw previously. Got time for just a couple more.
I have another question. The leadership of the Assad regime, most of them who are criminals involved in slaughtering their own people, and very possibly in the future there will be courts against these names. We know Bashar al-Assad flew right away to Moscow, but rest of his team, do you have any idea how did they get out of the country, or do you follow any intelligence about personalities like Maher Assad, his brother?
Yeah, I don't have anything to provide from the podium here. Let me go to Mike.
Thank you, General Pat. One question on Syria. Since last week, the Turkish-backed Syrian National Army and militants are amassing around the controlled areas of SDF. Are you engaging with Turkey on this? And do you think a Turkish incursion into northeast of Syria is imminent?
Again, I won't speak for Turkey in terms of what they may or may not do. And then I'm sorry, the first part of your question, negotiating with who?
Yeah, the Turkish-backed forces in around Kobani are amassing around Kobani to invade Kobani. Are you engaging with Turkey on this?
Again, I think I kind of already addressed this. Broadly speaking, the U.S. is communicating with Turkey about the situation in Syria writ large, and keeping lines of communication as it relates to the post-Assad regime, trying to ensure that the people of Syria are able to experience security and stability. But from a U.S. military standpoint, our focus in Syria continues to be on the enduring defeat of ISIS. Okay, let me get to Jim, and then I'll come to you, and then we'll close it up. Jim.
Joe, just to Syria again. Given all the unrest, are the and the counter-ISIS mission there, are the U.S. forces able to pursue that mission? And is the force protection measures, given the unrest, adequate for what's happening now?
Yes, I mean, that is evidenced by the ISIS counter-ISIS strike we took a couple days ago. So yes, they are able to conduct their mission. And of course, as it has always been, force protection remains a top priority for our forces in Syria.
There are no plans to add more forces.
Hate seeing ads? It's almost 2025. You don't have to anymore. The internet is almost unusable with how many ads you have to scroll through, until now.
Is the SDF, and the commander is now saying that he wants to propose a demilitarized zone because of these tensions with Turkey, and is asking for American supervision and presence. So is the Pentagon willing to consider that proposal to have U.S. boots on the ground in place to help that demilitarized zone?
Carla, as I'm sure you can appreciate, I'm not going to make policy from the podium here. Obviously we continue to communicate very closely with the SDF as our Defeat ISIS partner, but I'm not going to have any updates in terms of change of mission right now. Last question, Mike.
I know you're hoping for a drone question, so let me oblige you. Okay. You say that there are these sightings. Why do most of the sightings seem to be around New Jersey? I mean, it's the Garden State and all, but what is so special about New Jersey that it's getting most of the attention from this? I've never seen drones here. I've never seen them flying around Virginia. And second question, drone-related question. I know we are building on you're developing the military's ability to detect drones. Are you also working on their ability to defeat drones in the air?
Yeah, absolutely. To answer your last question, and I would encourage you to go take a look at the counter unmanned strategy that we put out, just last week, that talks about the approach that we're going to take. And that includes the ability to defeat drones both kinetically and non-kinetically. And so, again, looking at places like Ukraine, we've seen the impact that drones can have on the battlefield. And so it's something that the department's taking very seriously. As for your question in terms of the preponderance of sightings, reported sightings in the New Jersey Northeast corridor, I can't answer that question, Mike. Again, personal experience, I have seen drones in DC. I've seen drones, personal drones flying around. And as I've mentioned from this podium before, one of my close relatives is a private drone operator. And I'm sure some of that person's neighbors have often wondered, what that drone is doing. So, without taking a holistic snapshot of every single privately operated drone across the United States, some of which can be that big, some of which can be that big, it's hard to know specifically, why at this point in time. And again, as was highlighted in the joint statement, the current assessment explains what we think most of those are, to include piloted manned aircraft. The last thing I would say on it, again, completely understand the concerns, completely, will reinforce we're taking this seriously. It's sometimes when you focus on something, suddenly you notice more. And so, there's always the potential that because of the heightened awareness, now we're just more aware of this particular issue. But again, we'll continue to take this very seriously. We'll continue to take appropriate action if and when it's deemed that any of these drones near U.S. military installations pose a threat. But in the meantime, again, I think it's been very clear that we've not identified that any of these reported drone sightings were assessed as anomalous, or that it presented a national security or public safety risk over civilian airspace in New Jersey or other states in the Northeast. All right.
You're ruling out, Pat, that this is part of this testing corridor between Dover Air Force Base and Joint Base McGuire.
Yes. Thank you. All right.
Can I ask you a follow-up? I apologize. It's based off his question.
Now, you just came in the briefing room, so.
Negative. I came in.
Been here the whole
You flew in on your drone? Yeah.
But thank you.
That's okay.
Normally my pattern. You talked about the military bases. Has there been a surge in counter detection equipment that has been sent to military bases? I'm aware that DHS has sent other equipment to the New Jersey area. Is any of that include DoD equipment, or is that strictly all DHS?
As I highlighted earlier for Picatinny, we did send some additional active and passive detection capabilities, as well as some counter drone capabilities. Those are the only ones, and Earl, those are the only ones I'm tracking right now. But again, if we need to look at other installations, we certainly can, but I don't have anything else to.
When you say active and passive, I mean, that is just strictly detection, or is that actually to bring drones down?
So active and passive detection, different methods to be able to detect. Date on the transition process. Yesterday, the department's transition director, Ms. Jennifer Walsh, and representatives from the Office of the General Counsel, Washington Headquarters Services Security Office, and the DoD Transition Task Force met with 11 members of President-elect Trump's Agency Review Team, or ART, here in the Pentagon. In accordance with standard practice, the ART members signed non-disclosure agreements and discussed security procedures, including information security and next steps for transition efforts. DoD officials also showed the ART members dedicated office spaces here in the Pentagon that have been reserved for their use. For specific questions about the ART team, I would refer you to the President-elect's transition team. We'll continue to provide updates on the transition efforts within the department as they become available, and remain focused on ensuring a smooth, orderly, and professional transition. And with that, take your questions. Go to AP. Tara.
Thanks, General Ryder. So back to the drones. Can you unequivocally say that none of the drones that are being spotted are DoD assets or something that's being tested within the Defense Department? Are all of these either civilian or otherwise, but just not Department of Defense drones?
You're talking about the drones in New Jersey up and down the, yes, they are not DoD assets.
None of them are.
to my knowledge, none of them are.
Okay, and are there any sort of experimental programs going on where maybe drones are being tested that?
To my knowledge, no.
Okay. What about the ones that are flying over military bases at this point? Have there been any possibilities of collecting what sort of information these drones are doing or anything like that?
Yeah, again, just to kind of put this into context, and I know that our colleagues at the White House, FAA, DHS, FBI have all made this point. So over 1 million drones registered in the United States, and on any given day, approximately 8,500 drones are, in flight. And so the vast majority of these drones are going to probably be recreational or hobbyist. They're going to be commercial drones, used in things like architecture, engineering, farming, or they could be used for law enforcement. Is it possible that some of those drones could be up to malign activity? It's entirely possible, but the vast majority, that is not, the case. And in the case of drones flying near or over U.S. military installations, that in and of itself, just given the volume of drone flights we see on a given day, is not something that's new. We take all of those seriously. We will typically, when we detect them, attempt to classify them and take appropriate measures. Is it possible that some of those are surveilling? Absolutely. But can you make that assumption in every case? Not necessarily. So in each case, commanders have the authority, installation commanders and authorities have the authority to respond appropriately, and will continue to do that.
Okay, just one other topic, Ukraine. Did the U.S. have any role at all, either providing intelligence or otherwise, in what looks like a targeted killing of the Russian general?
Yeah, I can tell you we were not aware of this operation in advance. We do not support or enable those kinds of activities. I've seen the reports. Don't really have any information to provide other than what I've seen in the press, and so I'd have to refer you to the Ukrainians on that.
Pat, last year, U.S. Transcom and U.S. Air Mobility Command signed an agreement with a group called the National Aerospace Research and Technology Park. This is in Atlantic County, New Jersey, and the agreement was to create a test and evaluation corridor for UASs, unmanned aerial systems, and advanced air mobility. Is it possible that these drones that are being seen in New Jersey are part of that corridor that was created a year ago to test these kind of drones and unmanned systems?
Yeah, and I know you're not going to be surprised by this, but I've had some of your other colleagues reference that press release. I did check with the Joint Staff to see if that was possible, and again, received confirmation, no military operations, no military drone or experiment operations in this corridor.
Thanks, Pat. Going back to Russia, the general who was assassinated in Moscow, how significant is that? Do you think that's going to change Russia's calculus at all in the war with?
All right. So there's no military drones, they're saying, which I find that to be a bunch of crap because we've been using drones for so long in our military. I'm like, what can you do? Not much, right? Not much. There's not much you can do about it. Do I believe they don't know what these drones are? No, not when we created them for the military. And they were out way before. The military is the ones that got their ideals from us, the hobbyists, right? I remember the day the general come, what is that? That's a drone. Flying all, how many can you make? We can make a lot of them, right? It's called a government contract. So, yeah, they don't know what drones are. That's bull crap. But it's the military. They're not gonna give you their secrets away. But this is what I would have told them. Yes, there are being tests done, right? This is nothing new. It's been going on for a while. They've been here for the past 50, 60 years. Things been flying around. There's been no reports of any of these things violently hurting somebody. What can you do? Not much, right? The only thing I could think of is they're trying to get that airspace for these dang flying cars and homemade drones that are it takes a man to fly them, right? It takes a person to fly them. So what's going to be happening? I don't know. For you dudes out there that are like me and we know what's going on, keep your drones close to you because someone might shoot it out of the sky. And hopefully they ain't shooting down I bet you there's a pretty good chance that 25%, if not 35% of the planes going down are probably from people taking shots at them, thinking they're UFOs. I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know. Just keep in mind, keep a level head, folks, and don't panic. We can pretty much tell you now they're not alien green men. And why do I say that? Is because the military would have came out and said they're aliens from a different planet. And that would have relieved all the pressure off of them, right?
It won't surprise you. This is not a new conversation for us within DoD. I mean, as I highlighted, drones flying, whether here or overseas, is not something new, right? And especially in the United States with 1 million registered drones and 8,500 flying on any given day. Similar to vehicles that may inadvertently approach a base, the same can be true for drones. As to what constitute a threat, that obviously has to be assessed on a case-by-case basis, depending on what the drone is doing, where it's going, and so I'm not going to provide a blanket definition, but again, the idea here is that by providing training, capabilities, resources, commanders are able to assess and make those determinations. The other thing that I think it's very important to remember is that when we're here in the homeland, the authorities that the U.S. military has to detect and track these kinds of things is much different than it would be if we were in a combat zone. In other words, the intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capabilities that we can employ outside the United States are much different for very good reasons. We don't collect intelligence on American citizens. And so that, of course, appropriately requires to work very closely with local, state, and federal authorities, law enforcement authorities, when necessary to address these threats.
And you mentioned the White House and the administration did share a bit of their assessment of what these drones are, but we know lawmakers are
All right, there you have it, right from the horse's mouth. See, when we go to war with people like, let's say old Osama bin Laden and Baghdad baby daddy or whatever his name was, we are capable of using our drones to surveil and even take out people. So for the government, they're talking out the side of their neck. We don't know what it is. We don't know about drones. This is all bull crap. We've been making drones for a long time for the government. So it's time for them to stop lying to the world. Yes, we have drones. Yes, we use them in other countries to get rid of the bad guy or surveil. But this general said we're not allowed to do that in the homeland country of America because we can't surveil our own people. Well, you're talking out of the side of your neck because we're being watched every day. If it ain't through the police, it's through FBI, it's through CIA. No matter what, we're being watched. Whether it's the telephone, whether it's you're beaming us up through a beam or something. All of our information or whatever, or even watching us from outer space. So what do I find? I think it's a bunch of foobar. You lost the American people's trust, America. No one believes in nothing no more. We've been backing these people all along, and people been coming up to me, stabbing me in the back. They're just a lying bunch of crap. You know, I don't know who to believe. Americans don't know who to believe. And that's why we're all going to turn religious, and we're not going to pay taxes no more. We're not going to do anything. You're going to have 352 people mysteriously become all owners of churches, and we're not going to pay no taxes. We're not going to do nothing. We're getting out of the war business. It's a bunch of bull crap anyways. I don't want nothing to do with it. I couldn't believe. Why did you wake me up, Lord? Why, Jesus? Just let me sleep through this madness. And that is exactly what all this is a bunch of madness. Psychologically unleashed on America because America's tired of falling for ancient ways and getting 50% of our paychecks or whatever. America's tired of that. I don't blame them. Good God, how long has America been on top? You can't stay on top forever. If you do, then you're the devil. You can't. You're going to lose. You're going to have to compromise. You're going to have to improvise. Look at all the squirrels out there today. I'm going to have to get a squirrel video and put some peanuts out there. You gotta realize when you're going to have an overthrowing because just your people don't believe in anything you're doing anymore. They just don't believe in any of the crap no more. We just want peace. You got 352 million people screaming out, we're tired of this madness. We'll light the whole world up if you keep pushing us. They don't understand. They just don't know. We don't want what you ain't got a choice. You drove the American people nuts. Now they're taking it into their own hands. I imagine there'll probably be these idiots doing all kinds of crazy stuff. There ain't nothing anyone can do, but I wash my hands of it. I'm done. I don't care. People sending me mail, you gotta do it. No, you let these idiots that thought they were gods brainwash all of us because they have money or whatever, some kind of a special tattoo or the chosen ones or whatever this madness is. The American people finally figured out it's a bunch of bullcrap. And they're fed up with it. They're fed up with it. They don't care who's the president. They're not going to believe nothing. And when you lose the support of the people and the hope and God, you ain't got nothing. You got a bunch of people in a country that want to be gods and want to be the boss. Let them slaughter themselves, lock down, start making plans for other things and compromise, improvise, do something. You got nuclear warheads being stolen, chemicals and everything. Am I worried about the drones? No, you better get more up there sniffing around because we know for a fact there's plenty of evil in America. You've been overlooking it for so long. You don't go after these organizations because they got 1,000, 3,000, 50,000 members or seats. You know, the same people that are putting on uniforms for you folks are coming home and killing our people, creating their own empires within America's borders. You people are nuts. You wrecked it for our children in America. You took our safety. You poisoned us with fake-ass doctors and lab reports, and it's over with, folks. There was many more nukes than just one stolen, and tons of chemicals. And that's been all over the news. How many times do I have to smack you in the face with reality, your country, your madness, your politics, religions are over. We choose safety in our country before anything, and we don't want the devil anywhere around us. Be gone, Satan. It's over. It's done. But you folks go ahead and you start your war in America just like you're planning. Why ain't the government acting on this? Why ain't our military acting on it already? I have no idea. Everything, we don't believe nothing. Nobody believes anything. Half of this country, over 85% of it, is suffering from some kind of madness. Probably rabies, who knows what it is. Madness, right? Chemical induced, animal induced, whatever it may be. And then if they don't like you, you don't get the medication you need and you die. And it chalks up as the healthcare system didn't work, or it was a doctor, or it was a nurse. Yeah, we're pretty much fed up with all this madness. Don't call me anymore, government, Pentagon. I ain't giving no more new weaponry out or nothing. Good luck. Your drones, I can take them down in a heartbeat with my microwave sitting right inside my kitchen. Yeah, like I said, certain technology shouldn't have been released. Certain things shouldn't have been released, but they didn't listen. And I didn't listen. It's our own fault. No, you folks have a great day. What's coming to America? Well, we already know. We already know what's coming to America, folks. I wish it was different. I wish you all would have listened to us. A rich man ain't going to get you to heaven. He'll show you how to kill. He'll show you how to rape, hide, break all kinds of laws to get that money. But, and then they put the pressure on the American man. Well, you ain't a man. You ain't supporting your family right. You need to do this. You need to kill and slaughter to make millions. So, or you ain't a man. Yeah. This might be the last Christmas America sees if we make it that far. You folks have a great day. God bless. I wish I can help you. I wish you would have listened. I wish you folks, there ain't no amount of money worth any of this. And I've been offered a lot. You're not buying me. We're taking the rest of the technology to the grave with us or to another country. We don't care a crap about a crap on a stick. We don't care about nothing anymore but peace, God, love, tranquility. And you figure this madness out. You don't want to pay me to do it. You don't want to pay anybody to do it. You don't want to do nothing. You just want to let it ride, hoping that the American people will turn on themselves and kill most of the population, then kill the rest of the people. Yeah, we're just hip to it. You folks have a great day. God bless. Start connecting the dots. We did, right? Why all the drones in New Jersey and everything? Well, that's where all this madness is happening. That's where you got Trump on trial and anybody connecting dots? I don't think so, because they're just, I think the devil sucked their brains out. Either that or it is some kind of a hypnotic drug that they're spraying or using. It ain't the government. It's probably left-winger, right-wingers that paid a lot of money to Elon, to Trump. And now they're getting pushback from the government saying you can't do that. And now they're like, we already gave all this money for this. Oh, well, we already gave all this money to these companies to test all this stuff and everything. And, but who knows? Who knows? I can just see it. I got plenty of movies in my head of this stuff. Right? Most of the stuff you already seen on silver screen. But you folks have a great day. The madness continues. But here's the thing. Being that we're American citizens, we could just lock it out of our heads and who cares? till they start falling from the sky in our backyards, parachuting out of the sky. Does anyone care? No. No, they lost faith. We've all lost faith. We lost everything. Right? Yeah, I agree with the rest of the people. It's madness. I'll be back later, folks. Be safe. God bless. I got squirrels all over. I got to feed the squirrels. I'll be back with a squirrel video. God bless America. Take it all in, folks. Look at the beauty. Because it might be gone. One day, who knows? God bless. Talk to you later.